guys, how's it going? So today, Erin and I are working on moving a few pieces of concrete around our garden, possibly doing a little bit of planting too in the end. So you know we've been working on clearing out the area behind the Hartleys so that it's kind of cleared out when Chad comes to level it and prep it for the new garden. I have been digging up plants, friends have been digging up plants. I have a few left to move, but today we're focusing on like this bird bath and this lamp post. We're gonna get those moved probably out to the south garden. And then if we spin this way, we're also going to be moving 4 of the pots along the fence line. So our lane, it's kind of confusing. Our lane comes down this way, and if you don't know, or have not been here, you get to this spot right here and you're like, well, should I go straight or should I go left? It confuses a lot of people, and it can be frustrating when you arrive somewhere you're unfamiliar with if it's confusing as to where you should go, if there's no signs or no clear indication. So we want to eliminate that frustration. So to do that, Erin and I are going to move all 4 of these containers, and then when Chad's here, he's going to scrape all this gravel from both this side, and it does the same thing on the other side. Like when you're coming this direction on the driveway, you could either go straight or you could go right. It's just kind of this island of a garden. So once the gravel is all scraped out, the pots are removed, we're gonna make that a planting area. We're gonna incorporate it into the back garden so that it eliminates the confusion and it gives us more space to plant some trees. That's our main goal. We wanna get some shade over here and get some trees going. So when we do that, I'm not really sure what it's gonna mean for this space. We've struggled really badly with the boxwoods, especially on this side. They looked pretty poorly when we moved in, and we discovered that the drip line was plugged probably the second season we were here. I don't know why we didn't investigate sooner, but we got it replaced. It looks a little better, but there's still dead spots. There's holes where we've had to cut out dead spots. I feel like even if we do decide to keep this specific formation in this area, we're gonna need to pull out boxwoods and start over. I just don't think it's worth trying to, this whole boxwood right here needs to come out, which will create a hole anyway. So it might be nice to start with a blank slate, fresh boxwoods. And then for this side over here, the second winter we were here, we had 52 inches of snow, which means that these were completely covered. When the snow started to melt, we found that there was big slabs of ice attached to the boxwoods, weighing them completely down to the ground, which, some of the branches bounced back, surprisingly, and a lot of them were broken, though. Well, you had to do some replacing, so I dug some boxwoods out and popped new ones in. It took a while for them to kind of fill back in. They did in a couple spots, but there's still some areas where this side is struggling too. I do love the arch so much. I love the fountain, and those will probably stay close to or right where they're at. We are going to be removing this fence though, which I think will help tremendously. It'll open up that back garden space and make it feel more included. Up to this point, that space right there has kind of been no man's land. Like, it's a nice garden, we kept the grass up and the boxwoods trimmed and stuff, but the flower beds are really narrow. They're like 3 feet deep. It's really quite hard to put a lot of things in flower beds that are that narrow. I usually say if you're putting in a flower bed, 6 foot minimum depth on those flower beds, it just opens up the realm of possibilities for plant choice. But I think removing that fence will help a lot and maybe help me figure out exactly how we're going to incorporate everything here. But that's a project for a different day. We're just focusing on concrete removal. So now I need to go locate Erin so we can get started. I'm not really sure how long this will take. I should probably change my shoes too. Currently wearing sandals. That won't do. There he is.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. Drone hit the mulberry tree.
Oh, it did.
This is laying over there. Do you want to get it on your way
Oh,
over there?
sad. Did it get broke, hit?
Maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll grab it. Another drone bites the dust. Sad. Okay, he said it was laying over here by the mulberry tree. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's broken for sure. I think it's done.
Well, dang.
I hope we got some good footage before it crashed. I am loving this. So our initial idea was to move these containers to the orchard, like right inside the orchard fence, and then maybe one at each corner of the cut flower shed. But the shed is, you know, it still has some work that needs to be done and we need to paint it. So they would have to be kind of scooted out of the way. But having them right here flanking the grass pathways is a really nice indicator as to where they are, honestly. And then you can kind of see, like, the grass still has a ways to go to fill in. You can see the sprinkler right here and kind of the line right here. So we're hoping to rectify this situation this year and get that grass to fill in. It's kind of the same in a lot of areas because we need overlapping water, and we didn't have this ready to be seeded until later in the season. So once the sprinklers are all ready to go, actually I think the sprinklers are ready. They are. Sprinklers are ready to go for these pathways. We just need to seed the grass, and then we'll have proper irrigation in all the corners. So you can see where this one goes. So right here, and it goes right up to this area, and that's where the grass will take off down this way. Oh, it'll be so fun to watch that fill in. But these are so beautiful right here. They just like indicate here's the opening. This one is dead though. All the boxwoods that are in these pots, do you guys remember I dug them out of the garden last fall? They all came from the area behind the Hartley. I knew that they were going to eventually need to be moved, and I had these pots that were all empty, and I thought it would be really nice to have an evergreen centerpiece. But to buy boxwoods that were that large and established, that adds up super fast. So I thought, well, this is kind of perfect if I dig them all up. Hopefully, I mean, they have to be moved anyway. Hopefully they take. Well, 13 out of 14 of them survived, which I feel like that's a great ratio. And it worked out perfect because the first 10 boxwoods are winter gems and these last 4 are sprinters. So it was just great. And this one happened to be the one at the very far end that you hardly see compared to all the rest of them. Things don't work out that great. Usually if one of them's gonna die, it's gonna be one like right in the middle. But these all look really good. Let me walk you over to this side. There's that one. It's got a nice shape. And then this one's a little sad in the shape department, but we can fix that. It just needs a little bit of time. I'll probably rotate the pot to where, see how it kind of like dips in right there. We'll face that toward the other side. But we're gonna pop some Plantone fertilizer in these containers today, and maybe we'll get these all planted up. Again, here's the grass line right here. Comes and meets the mulch here. And then on this side, this one's the most full, I think. So see right here, we've got a line right here. In fact, I think I could scoot this one over just a little bit. Now up in our vegetable garden by our raised beds, I have 4 large boxwoods in containers, terracotta pots, that have been there for years, and they have survived through winters. Last year, one of them started to look a little puny. The drip was plugged. We didn't realize it until it was too late. So that one did not survive. So here I'm kind of faced with having 3 boxwoods where I know I can't get a 4th to match it. So what I think I'm gonna do, pop one of those boxwoods out because I think it'll match the size of these fairly close. We'll use one of those in place of the dead one, and then I'll have 2 boxwoods in pots that still look good that I can use in other containers. And as we were moving these pots around this morning, we were going by the Versailles garden back and forth, and so I really was studying the pots that are up there, and I think I like how they are. I think we'll go one more season, at least the spring season, with them the way they look, because the drip is already set up to them. That's one reason too. I don't have to run any drip, and I think we just need to go get some spring color, and I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move the other concrete pieces behind the Hartley another day so I can focus on getting all these kind of buttoned up and planted and ready to go. Also, quick side note, we had the Savannah urns right here, which we are going to move. I don't really like to have too much of something in one area. This area will fill up with dahlias. This will be full of color, and then this will be a nice grass pathway, and so will this right here, which means we would have to move these into the cut flower area because this is going to be part of the grass. So if we did containers here, they would need to be about where this T-post is. And I think I would like it better, since we now have containers here, to have it look a little more clean and put those somewhere else. And there's plenty of opportunity for 2 pots around here. We're kind of in a constant shuffle of containers. Okay, so let's go put the tractor away and head down to the garden center for some plants. I used up all of the spring plants I had yesterday while planting other pots, so we need to get just something simple like some pansies and stuff. so I'm down at the garden center. I'm here to get annuals, but I just heard that they got a load of clematis in and vines, and the load from Isley Nursery, which are specimen evergreens. They said they've already started putting them out, but there's a few in the back here to look at. First of all, look at, this is the back section where all those pallets were. They just made groupings of things. It looks really good. Look at all the colors and textures. Oh, so pretty. Oh, right back here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, look at this. This is a Blue Alps juniper bonsai. Look at that, look how cool that is. Whole bunch of pines. This is a Albin prostata pine. It's got really thick needles. Catherine Elizabeth, Japanese white pine. Pacific blue pine, Macedonian pine. That's a beauty. The Jubilee, okay, so there's the Jubilee Weeping Alaskan Cedar and then the regular Alaskan Cedar. I think this one stays more narrow. For those of you with smaller areas, more narrow areas, that'd be a really good, beautiful evergreen. I like this. Hillside Upright Norway Spruce. There's Japanese maples, Northwind maple. I have one of those behind the greenhouse right now. This is I don't even know how to pronounce that. Bihao. I don't know. Japanese maple. Is this a Fritsch? Bush's lace. Ooh, that is pretty. Oh, that one is too. Oh my goodness. Oh, red cone Norway. Like this one. 12 by 8. Isn't that a beaut? Sherwood compact spruce. These are neat too. These are Troutman junipers. Really narrow. 15 by 4 is what they end up growing to. Oh, it's a larch. This is a Horstman's recurved larch. Look at it in here in the shade house. Look at all of these beautiful plants. What is this? A box honeysuckle. What? It's beautiful. All right, guys, look at all of these clematis. Look at this. Oh, I'm so glad they do tags like this. I think that is so striking. I don't know how many varieties are sitting in here right now. Ooh, I like this one. But there's a bunch and they are gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Oh, I like that. Fair Rosamond. Some wisteria and silver lace vine, passion flower vine, honeysuckle, and more clematis. Oh, more clematis, look. Oh. That is a Wilbaron. This is a bluebird right here. Look how sweet that is. All right, guys, it is a new day. When I went down to the garden center, I got completely distracted. I stayed there a lot longer than I had intended on, but I didn't realize they had received so many new things and I wanted to take a look at them. And then we had some out of town family stop in to visit. So, you know, priorities. I decided that this project could wait until this morning. So anyway, you can see that I did find some things. There's cheddar. I've got some new boxwoods here, possibly to replace these. I just decided I was gonna try something new in there, but I so enjoy the boxwoods. They're so low maintenance and they provide needed rest for the eyes. You know, those raised beds get so full of just different things that are usually really fluffy, overflowing, and I need some structure in there. So I didn't really feel like I could do any kind of fluff in the pots. It needs to be something more structural. So boxwoods have really served that purpose over the past few years. And so anyway, I might wait on it a day or two. I don't intend on planting those today, but I will have them for that or for another project. And then I got some sweet pansies. I just love this color in the spring, that and the buttery yellow. Those are some violas there. And then some English daisies that are really sweet. Okay, so this is the one that I need to toss, and then this is the one I'm going to take today. So you can see that it has its winter colored. Boxwoods tend to bronze in the winter, but the other ones are bronze as well, but I think that's a really nice size. And I'm guessing it's gonna come out of this pot all in one root ball. These boxwoods have been in these terracotta pots for several years, and I know they keep trying to root into the ground. There's nothing for them to root into because it's just gravel, and then underneath the gravel, just in the walkway portions, we do have landscape fabric. So anyway, it's given it its best shot. Look at that. All right, these 4 are done for now, and I really like how they turned out. And I think once I sheared the winter gem up, these are far enough apart that you won't be able to tell that they're different varieties of boxwood. Plus, there's going to be stuff all around them. You know, eventually from the lane, you probably won't even be able to see this pot or that one for that matter. You'll really just be able to see them as you are walking down this grass pathway or, you know, walking from the cut garden into that area. Eddie and Trisha are working on the flower shed right now on the inside. I'm so excited. Anyway, the blue pansies are gonna fill in and look really sweet. They all look pretty much the same. And here's this pair right here. Now on the ones that were a little bit less full, I did pop a few more pansies so that they could kind of maybe fill in that section and we won't notice the shape quite as much. I actually picked up 1 flat of pansies to go in each of these pots, and it only took me 2 flats and a part of a third, which is happy news because I have so many containers to fill. We're gonna head up to the Versailles garden and get those planted. I think I might utilize some of the tulips and things that I planted in containers last fall. They're in the greenhouse, they're looking amazing, and I think they'll be great to be centerpieces in those pots. All right, so I got the tulips. I think 4 different varieties, also some lavender. I had to give that some water, poor thing. I usually water a little earlier in the day. And then I've got some leftover lettuce and leftover things from other projects there, just a few, but this is what we're looking at. So these containers right here, oh my word, do they ever need a refresh? So I was initially thinking of moving these up to where the grouping of 3 pots are, and then moving the groupings of 3 somewhere else, kind of scattering those pots out, but I like it. I do need to level, it looks like level 1 of the pots, the one on the feet over here. But overall, I think they're really pretty. I do think I'm going to leave the evergreen, the one in the tallest urn there, and I'm going to remove these and pot them up and put them somewhere else. That's kind of the plan, I think. But like I said, these already have drip run to them, so it's quite nice that I don't have to mess with the infrastructure on those too much. All right, so I'm really not sure how these are gonna come together exactly, but let's get started. Doesn't that look better? Oh, it just looks clean, if nothing else. And this color is so fresh. In the center, we've got the variety of tulip called Versailles. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's a beautiful pink tulip with green stripes, and they get quite tall. So it will be a beautiful centerpiece here really soon. But I just enjoy seeing this like sagey green soft color right there. I think it's pretty just how it is. And then I had 4 4-inch sweet peas left from our last planting project. So I put 2 in each pot, 1 on either side of the obelisk. And then I used 3 packs of yellow pansies. So 1, 2, 3, and then 1 pack worth of yellow violas. I just split them up. Isn't that amazing? And there's the other one right there. So let's head up this direction. So I decided to keep these really simple because we've got a lot of color going on underneath the balcony there. There's a lot of yellow, purple, yeah, just a lot of color up there. And I didn't want these to fight too much with what was going on behind. And I like the simplicity. I think just using the blue pansies was kind of a fun thing to do. I mean, it just makes them look so cohesive. So in the biggest urn, I left the cypress. That's a fern spray cypress. I love the form of these, just the texture, gorgeous. They can handle more shade in our area. And I planted that one last fall, and then just ringed it with blue pansies. In this one, we've got a variety of tulip called Akebano, and it's a really soft yellow tulip. I have them back behind our angel statue right over there. and they are gorgeous. And then I did 1 4-pack of lettuce, 1, 2, 3, 4, just for some little bit of a different texture, and then blue pansies. And then in the center of this one, we have a variety of tulip called Purissima Blonde. You can see that the leaves look like hosta. They kind of have like that autumn frost hosta look to them with the really beautiful gold variegation. And when they bloom, they're a creamy kind of color, and then they age to a really bright white. So that with the blue pansies, I think is really striking, especially once everything starts filling in a little bit more. Boy, I had some, whoops. I had some issues with the drip tubing in here. It's not wanting to cooperate very well. And then this side's the same. Love them. And I'd like to head over to the chicken coop because I have enough stuff left over to get those pots planted, I think. Okay, so for this chicken coop area, we really just have 3 containers. The 2 larger ones that already have a centerpiece and the window box. I do need to figure something out here though. I planted this topiary last year. We had it turned the other way and it was just leaning far back that way. So we turned it this way, hoping that the wind would help kind of push it back. But so far, it's not happening. And it's kind of looking funny. So I'm gonna try to figure out something to get that to stand up a little bit straighter. And here's what we have left. I have a bunch of tulips and stuff, but I'm gonna save these, I think, for the greenhouse containers. But I've got these gorgeous English daisies, yellow violas, and then if we peek through the spruces here, you can see a few blue pansies left. I've also got some cherry blossom stock in the greenhouse. I may not need to use it now that I have these daisies here, but I might. I was thinking of saving most of that. I used some the other day in one of our containers. I was thinking of saving the rest of the flat and using it in the ground near our kitchen kind of walkway area, but I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Definitely more straight at this point. So what I decided to do, because I couldn't figure out how I would be able to get the right leverage with a stake in there, so I tied off from the trunk with some tree rope, which is really soft twine that doesn't cut into their trunks. And then I tied onto that with just some white nylon string because I thought it would match the chicken coop a little bit better, and then tied it off to this eye screw right here. And this should work out so long as I don't have to move this container, which I don't anticipate needing to do. Typically when we are staking something to correct its shape like this, 1 season is plenty, so we'll probably be able to take the string off. I'm gonna check it midway through the season. If it still has a little bit of a lean, we'll tie it back up for the rest of the season, but usually like by the end of summer, we can take the string off and it's like perfect. Not always, but most of the time. And I had just enough plants to finish this off. So what I ended up doing was putting 3 of the English daisies around the trunk, and then between that I put 3 of the lettuce, which these are a head type lettuce, so they'll really form a beautiful rosette right there. So you have to imagine that kind of weight in there. It's gonna be gorgeous. Right in front of each of the lettuce, I put 2 of the blue pansies, so kind of broken up into thirds there. And then from blue pansy to blue pansy, I did some yellow violas. So that's what I did in both containers flanking the coop. And then in the window box, I had actually 2 Dusty Miller. I only needed to use 1. And then I flanked that with 2 of the English daisies. Look at that. We got a lot of insect activity today. And then I put, let's see, I had 1 pack of pansies left. I put 2 of the blue pansies, which don't have color yet, but they will. And then yellow, 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 yellow. Kind of worked out great. And here's the other one. And that is gonna be it for today's project. I'm so happy with how far those plants stretched. I did not anticipate being able to plant the chicken coop pots with what we picked up, but I'm really happy that they're done. I just have a few other pots I wanna pop some spring color in. The ones in front of where we park, a couple window boxes, and then possibly the containers in front of the greenhouse. And I don't know if I'm gonna leave them in groups like they are now. I can see them right in front of me just staring at me, or if I'm going to take a few of them away so it's a little bit more simple. But the thing I am happiest about is getting those great big containers moved to the south garden. I love where they ended up, and now that corner is set and ready for Chad. He can come in whenever he's available. He can start moving that gravel, which means we can start planting trees. Some of the bigger ones that we had delivered this spring, and I think it'll be fun to see some some big things going over there. It's always been a pretty hot area, and we would really like to get some things set up to where we have more shade here. It's really important where it gets really hot to provide that reprieve, both for ourselves, for the plants. We don't have to utilize as much water when there's shade, and you know, all those good things. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. I will give you updates as the season progresses. I've just been kind of walking around looking at all the spring containers we have planted just in this last week, and thought about what they're going to look like in just, you know, a couple weeks, 3 weeks. They're going to be all filled in and beautiful. So we'll give you updates later on. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.